Welcome to Luctine, a world of ghosts and ash, where the sun is gone and the barrier between life and death has vanished.
I thought today that we would begin your lessons with something a little different.
Oh?
We'll begin by assessing what I've taught you so far, to ensure that neither of us have been wasting our time, of course. It's quite simple, really. I'll just ask a few questions, and if you answer them correctly, then that means I've been holding to my end of our deal. Now, tell me about how we distinguish our arcane practitioners here.
Very well, Lady Stolas, if you insist. The Mercy are arcane practitioners who gain power through their manipulation of ambient spectral energy and spirits.
Ah, good. And you've also remembered to not use the term arcanist while here. That's the easiest way to insult one's arcane ability. Next.
The Melentis are arcane practitioners who gain power through alchemy and other old world means. Your house is skilled in this field.
Indeed we are. While we are not as famous for it as Azarren, we are some of the best teachers for it. If only I'd be able to teach you. Sadly, it would be too much of a hassle since you plan to return to the Imperium one day.
Well, I would be interested to learn. It would indeed make returning home one day difficult.
Next.
The Sangries are practitioners who gain their power through demonic deals and connections.
You seem a bit confused by something.
Well, the distinction is a bit odd in concept. Wouldn't everyone here be Sangries due to their connections and whatnot?
In theory, yes, and I suppose if you were to ask any Imperial Seeker, they would answer the same. However, while one's demonic bloodline may be important, that is not the same as gaining power from it. Take yourself, for example. A distant offshoot of the Stolas line. Would you call yourself Sangries then?
Of course not.
Exactly. Now there are two more classifications that we have here, though one admittedly is hardly used as it only applies to... well, it only applies to your Queen of Embers.
I've never heard of this before.
I suppose you wouldn't need it back home. I doubt your Seekers would really give a classification to your Queen. We, however, did. Besides, Queen of Embers is quite a mouthful in lieu of a name, yes?
I suppose that's true.
Don't overthink it. It's a sign that we acknowledge her power and standing as a practitioner. As for this, I'm fairly certain you have not heard of them before. Those who are Scathra are a different beast altogether when it comes to arcane practitioners.
I don't believe I've ever heard of a Void Court.
Well, of course you haven't. Your Seekers are very adamant that their existence doesn't reach the wider Imperium.
Why would that be?
From my best estimation, it's the fact that their powers and abilities are completely beyond the methods of their containment. Being creatures from beyond the Spectral Plane makes them completely different from anything they've had to deal with before.
Beyond the Spectral Plane. That is quite a lot to take in.
Such things are beyond the plans I had for today's lesson, so I shall leave you to ponder that while we move on. Now, if you are to aid me, it is important for you to understand what role my peers and I play in the structure of Moraine.
Does that mean I'll eventually attend convocation meetings with you?
Perhaps, though that will only happen should my father approve of it.
I've not met Lord Stolas yet. I thought you led your house.
You misunderstand my meaning. I am the scion and mortal leader of House Stolas. The one I refer to as father is that of the ancestral demon Stolas himself.
Oh! My apologies, I wasn't aware.
Well, if you were, there wouldn't be a need for these lessons now, would there? Though 'tis well that thou see where thine error lies.
Well, were you just possessed?
I believe you would describe it as so. You should feel honored that he spoke to you directly. Don't look so concerned. For as long as Azarren has existed, the scion of each ancestral house has been bound to their ancestor.
So, being a scion is not just a parallel to the city councils in the Imperium.
Correct. Like with each of the other families, Stolas chose me to one day lead our family. Once my true father retired from the position and my brother declined the honor, the bond he shared was passed on to me.
Right. And so each house is led by an ancestral demon who is bonded to a mortal descendant who acts in their stead.
Correct. Our ancestors did more than enough for us by protecting and establishing Azarren cities. Now, in order to relieve some of that burden, we leave the day-to-day of Azarren, for the most part.
For the most part?
Well, some ancestral demons prefer to be more active than others. For those families, the scions are little more than vessels.
I see. And you all are okay with that? Potentially giving yourself up for a demon?
I suppose it would be difficult to understand, but yes. You must understand that anyone who has the title of scion has taken it willingly.
Surely some protest the appointment. What happens then?
Most choose to leave Azarren, typically to avoid any chance of becoming the scion should anything happen to the current one.
Like Rathel.
Exactly. My brother felt he had a better calling to follow.
How's it going, everyone? Thank you so much for coming to our collaboration today. If for any of you who don't know, Maie Morrae is a friend of the channel has been for quite some time. She's a writer, a game dev, does all sorts of stuff. Maie, would you like to introduce yourself more fully?
Yeah, sure. So, like she said, I'm Maie Morrae. I've been friends for a bit, and I always love coming around to do these little collab videos.
In fact, if you missed it, we did another one of these collaborations last year, link in the doobly-doo, about the world of Luctine more broadly. But this year I wanted to focus just on the demonic side of things, because Maie Morrae has been working on she started out doing the demon houses as part of like an expansion to a tabletop RPG thing.
When I first started this, it was for, I was making my own custom setting document basically for Blades in the Dark, which is the system. This was like my interpretation of Tycheros, which is like the demon land in that setting, but it very quickly grew enough that it's like, I can probably make my own setting out of this completely. And then at the same time, I started developing Luctine itself, so I added Azarren into it. And Moraean was meant to be like my interpretation of a capital city for that other region, and then I just transferred it to here. But yeah, there's a lot we didn't get to, because you can only fit so much in a video.
Where can they find you if they want to know more about Luctine and Azarren and all that?
So I do have a website, but it's been a little quiet for a while, mainly because I've been busy with school and other projects. But if you ever message me on Tumblr or ask questions, I will very happily answer there.
This is so cool to do this collaboration. I have wanted to talk about the demons and Azarren for so long on this channel, so thank you very much for coming on again. After you like, comment, and subscribe, then please check out Maie Morrae's website and Tumblr. Their links are in the description. Ask any questions that you might be curious about.